Okay, so hopefully y'all were able to see the intro. Hopefully y'all are here. I have no idea because I posted the video this morning, which it wasn't an impromptu video. It was a video that I've had planned for quite a while. I was just actually able to film it and get it uploaded. Hopefully, the puppies stay relatively good today. We, Cameron and Caden took and exercised them today because they have been on the rambunctious side lately. And that is not something that I can handle doing, is exercising them. But if you didn't know, I had posted an extra video this morning. It's not something you don't have to watch it if you don't want to. It's pretty much how to make sure like you're following on YouTube and you're following on Patreon. And it's something that even if you aren't supporting on Patreon, but if you are downloading like the free SVGs, to make sure you're getting notified of when they're uploaded, because like YouTube doesn't always notify you when there's a new video. If you're not following on Patreon, if you want to get notified when things come out, this is a good way to know. So this is kind of how you do it, because even if you follow on social media, the way that the world works now, everything's an algorithm. Unless you interact, you don't see it. And unless I post frequently and with my health and all that kind of stuff, if I miss posting, my content gets pushed down, which is my fault. So that's the way the world works. So let me say hi to people that are in the chat. If I seem out of it, I've had a headache today. So there's that. I look terrible. And people are going to be like, no, you don't. I do for myself. I haven't went out in public except for doctors, I think, in a couple of weeks. Yes, at least a couple of weeks. I've gotten notification like on my Apple Watch that now I am at risk for falling. So there's that. So hi Tracy, hi Christy. Not trying to complain because there are so many people who are dealing with it worse than I am. It's just the nature of the beast. So yeah. And that's part of it, is I want people to know when things are coming out. And it's like I said in that video. When I post things like that, it is not to guilt anybody into supporting me financially. I like to work for my money, period. And if you can't afford Patreon, I completely understand it. I would honestly rather people watch YouTube than anything else. I don't know why. It's just that has always made me feel more comfortable than anything else. It's like, I don't know. I'm just really weird about stuff like that. Oh, hi, Roberta. It's been a while since you have made it to Alive. Yeah, Christy, I take, what is it? Rizatriptan? I think that's the name of it. So it's kind of weird. And they upped my Topamax. So anytime they up that one, do you hear that sound? that is the sawgrass doing its daily circulation. So if I don't print on it daily, it does that. So that way my heads don't get messed up. Oh, I can imagine, Roberta. But I don't know. I love doing lives, but especially with the way I feel lately, I always feel like people are judging me. And especially, and this is going off on a tangent a little bit because of how I grew up in my family members, coming from a family of addicts. I hate going into public now with like my walking and my talking because I'm like, they think that I am just the same way that they are. So it's like, it's embarrassing to me. And I don't know if anybody else understands that mentality. So, yeah. But for Patreon, which the kit video is coming out tomorrow, the SVGs are awesome because we have some 10 color SVGs. Now, the reason being for that, there's more SVGs for it, is because we have 2 separate kits for people who want to stay with the t-shirts. So you still can have, you can choose for the $45 a month kit. You can choose the normal t-shirt with the 5 vinyls, or you can choose the 10 vinyl option. So we've got both. So we've got some, we're going to do in the video for tomorrow, which that's kind of what I've been working on today. We're going to do two tutorials in one. It's a lot. So we're going to do 10 color and a 5 color. It's a lot. So you're going to see some really complex stuff. Really complex stuff. If you see me keep closing my eyes, it's because I have the lights on the lowest setting, but it bothers my head. But if I turn them down, you can't see anything at all. So, and if I don't have them on at all, people won't watch any of the videos because they are terrible. So just so you know, I won't not have lights. Let me see if I can read some of the comments. No judgment here. Let me show it on the screen. That makes it easier. No judgment here. Just here to support. I love learning from you. I'm working on making some more sublimation items for my 3rd grandbaby. Oh, congratulations. A new grandbaby. Not for epilepsy, but for migraines. They treat them medically the same way. Instead of taking I can't even pronounce that. I am not even going to try. I haven't even heard of that one yet. Let's see. Thank you, Christy. That's just the thing about living in a small town where people know who you are and your family. Even if you have been someone different from your family forever, if you even remotely start to seem like other people, they expect it. You know what I'm saying? Hi, Jeanette. Hi, Soraya, I got it right on the first try this time. Thank you, Tracy. Yes, please remember to like whenever you interact. It does help with the algorithm. And that's always kind of a crappy feeling that whenever you deal with this stuff, like with YouTube and all that, you're just a number. But again, I will try to remember, like if you go to watch this on replay, I will try to remember to link that video if you want to watch it in the cards, so that way you can check it out if you want to know how to do any of that kind of stuff. Because even if I can't post videos, I will be posting like new SVGs on Patreon. And as I said, one of the things I am doing, even if like is the design request, which is a free thing that I'm doing. And one of the reasons why I am doing that is since I am not working other than this, is to help keep myself inspired, because I am not doing custom jobs. And yes, I could do an Etsy store or something like that, but without knowing day to day what my health is going to be like, I don't want to promise what I can't get out. So that's kind of out of the question at this point. And doing stuff like that kind of helps keep my creative juices flowing. So you can always put in a design request on one of my Facebook groups or on Patreon. You do the hashtag design request, and then that way I can keep them organized. It's free. Just don't pester me about them, because I do them when I can. And then that way it's easy to follow along. And then I just tag you once I get it done. Like I'll comment back once yours is done. But it helps kind of keep me inspired so I don't run out of ideas. Because if not, it's like I can only do the same kind of SVGs with what kind of goes through my mind. It also includes PNGs. Now, one of the things I also try to do, like if I'm doing a design for Sublimation, is I also try to create an SVG or DXP background to it. So for people who don't have Sublimation printers, that way you can do like print and cut files, because I don't want anybody to be left out. I hate that. I don't want it to always be one or the other. Hopefully that makes sense. Because, you know, some people don't want to get into Sublimation, or some people can't afford it. And another thing I also want to make very clear is, I said this in one of my groups before, if for some reason something that I have is part of like Patreon's paid content and you cannot afford it, message me privately and I'll see what I can do. Because I've been in this situation where I can't afford something. You still have to have entertainment. You don't deserve not to have fun things to do. I will work something out with you. Times are tough. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't look down on somebody because they can't afford something. And I don't think that you're a charity case. That's why I said reach out to me privately. Hopefully that makes sense. So let me make sure I'm saying hi. But again, eyes are closed because I have a headache and it's bothering me. Thank you, Jeanette. Thank you, Tracy. Hi, Jonathan. McQuell, if I pronounce your name wrong, it is not on purpose. I do it because my brain just can't even process stuff like that right now. Hi, Mendez family. Hi, Maria. Actually, Tracy, PNG files are really not a vector type of format. A PNG is more of a JPEG style. It has a transparent background. So it still has like that. It is like a JPEG. It's still a pixel. But you can print it. It just doesn't have anything behind it. Like as a JPEG, if you went to print it out on certain things, like for trying to think of the best way to put it. Trying to think of how I'd put this. Okay. So there is, yes, it does have less image loss. Also, like if you go to, so like if you go to print it for like sublimation and you need to stretch it out, like for a cup or whatever, it's clearer. So you can make it bigger and it doesn't have like those blurry edges. It just works better. I can't think of the best way to put it. Maybe I can do a video over it because sometimes, like right now, that's part of the reason why I've started to put things as a disclaimer at the beginning of videos, because sometimes trying to explain it isn't the easiest thing, but I do try to show what I'm talking about because it makes more sense when I do that. But yeah, JPEG, whenever you go to blow it up, it looks cruddy. A PNG, not so much. I guess the best way to put it is, okay, have you ever taken a picture off the internet and like a logo or something and you try to pull it like for sublimation or try to like trace it out and it looks cruddy, but then you find one and it's got like when you see it and it looks like it has like squares behind it, and then you go to trace it out and it looks 10,000% better. That's typically because it's got a transparent background and it's easier to work with. Hi, Stephen. Thank you, Maria. As I said, I will do a video over it, like where I can actually show you a little bit better on what I mean. There's less image degradation of it. That's more of what I say. Yes, SVG actually stands for Scalable Vector Graphic. EPS stands for Encapsulated Postscript. And so the difference between an EPS or a vector image is made from curves. So it is a mathematic equation. So a vector graphic, as I said, it is a mathematic equation. So it never loses integrity. So no matter how big or how small you make it, it never loses the shape of it. So you can make it 5,000 feet wide and it will always look the same, or if you make it an inch and it will look the exact same. Now, whenever you're working with something that is made from pixels, If you make it too big, it's going to look terrible. And your images that are made from pixels are certain things like your JPEGs, your PNGs, your GIFs, those types of images. Even though I stumble over my words and sometimes I can't get out my thoughts, I do know, I remember things. But your vector graphics are your Adobe Illustrator files, your EPSs, your Corel Draw files, your FlexiSign files, your DXPs, those types of files. Yes, exactly, Stephen. And a lot of times you can take and change things around. So if you're looking for a certain font, Soraya, there are a lot of great websites to use to find fonts. So there's 1001 free fonts, and then there's also DeFont. Um, and if you don't know the name of a font, there is, I can't think of the name of the website, but I think it's also, there's also a thing built into Corel. I think there's a place also called What the Font that if it's clear enough, I don't remember, is it built into Corel or is it a website? There is something called What the Font that will tell you. Now, if you are planning on selling something that has a font, you need to make sure you have commercial license to sell with the font. So you either need to have like on like 1001 free fonts a long time ago. A lot of the fonts we have, I can't think they were from 1001 free fonts. We paid, which it's called 1001 free fonts, but I think we have like 6,300 and some odd fonts from 1001 free fonts. We paid for like a buttload download, like all at once, that came with fonts from there. But you need to make sure you pay for commercial license for it. Same thing with any graphics that you use, that you pay for commercial license. Now, you might see on like Etsy or anything like that, if there is a logo for Disney or anything like that, they do not have commercial license. It may say that they have created it or whatever. It is not commercial license. If you put that on something and you sell it, you can get sued. You can get in lots of trouble. Like I have done tutorials where I've used like stuff from Cricut that I have downloaded. I can show you how to make stuff with that, but I have also made it clear that it is not for you to sell. I am showing you how to make it with authentic Disney stuff. Hopefully that makes sense. You need to be very careful. And people will be like, well, you can buy fabric from Hobby Lobby that has Disney stuff and you can sell with it. No, you cannot. It is illegal. It is for personal use only. You can buy it and you can make a gift, but it is illegal for you to sell with it. If you want to do it, Do it at your own risk. And just because Joe Smo down the road does it, doesn't make it right. And they will sue you. And also, be very careful, because there are lots of places on Etsy who will copyright a phrase after everybody else has done stuff with it on there because they're being buttholes. Just so you know. And then they will make you take it down off your store. And also, people will get mad because you have a design that looks similar to yours. Again, nothing is new. You may think you came up with something, but no idea is new at this point. It is what it is. It's the nature of the beast. And I always want to make things perfectly clear like that. And you can't get your feelings hurt over that kind of stuff. And I always like to make sure people understand that, because designing is fun, but you may think you may have the most unique design out there. You go searching deep enough, somebody else. Were you able to find your ink, Linda? But yeah, somebody else is going to have something similar somewhere. You can't get your feelings hurt over it. Somebody's going to be like, I thought of that first. Guess what? They may have. But you can't go search every single corner of the internet for it. It's all been done before. There are how many billion people on this internet, or on the internet in the world? A buttload. And that's part of this, and that's what I always try to say is, life's too short, and you got to keep that kind of stuff in mind. You can't get your feelings on your shoulders about everything. Not to say I don't get upset about things on a daily basis, because I do. And I'll be the first one to tell you, like, there have been lots of times lately, especially with the way my medicine works and on my head, like, I have been focused on, like, hyper focused on things, and I have felt like such a failure over things lately. Because work is the only thing I can focus on. And when things aren't going the way that I want it to, I feel like a failure right now, because I can't do anything else. I can't go to work doing anything else. I can't drive. I can't really cook. I can't exercise. I can't go outside really and play with my dogs. So it's like, how do you not feel like a failure? So it's like, that's real talk with people, I think sometimes people forget those things, where it's like, we all go through those moments. Oh, Linda, it's not like that. I mean, and that's part of it. And, when you're on medication, I think and these are things people don't talk about either. Whenever you're on medication that really messes with your head, it's those feelings and thoughts can intensify 10,000 fold. And, I explain that to people, like, I am an open book, and sometimes it can be too open. And that's part of what I always try to explain to people is, I don't, even with all of this, I also want it to be real for people, because someone else out there that catches this might be going through this, and they may have this thought, and they might feel alone, and they need to know it's okay. That's why I say these things. But yeah, I'm okay. I'm tired. I don't feel great, but I keep going. And that's part of it. And I think that's what people need to see too. And Linda, I'm always going to be hard on myself. I'm my hardest critic. You know, I have overcame a lot, and I will figure out ways to either overcome this, or I will figure out ways to make this my new normal. And I will figure out ways to make this my new normal and make this a good new normal. And it'll just take time. You know, this has been, even this is still relatively new. And that's one of the things that I still have to tell myself. So hopefully that makes sense. Anyways, really, Shadow, he stinks. What you doing, my honey girl? Did you move? Was that spot no longer good? They're worn out. Oh yeah, I'm sure that I will figure out things that I can do that I enjoy. Right now, there's not a whole lot, but I will figure out things. The puppies make me happy. Oh yeah, Shadow has the worst gas, and he stays under, like whenever he's sleeping, like if I'm in my office, he's right down here under my desk. He has to be right next to me. And yeah. Oh yeah, Melissa. I mean, and that's part of it, is I will always share how I'm feeling. Like whenever I was younger, and like all the things that I dealt with as a kid, I was like, one of the things I decided even back then, I was like, if one of the things I had figured is, if I'm going to go through this, I'm going to make sure I will share my journey, because if someone else is going through anything, I want them to never feel like they're alone. LJ, Linda, we have tried a lot of different diet stuff. I think that there's just some puppies or some dogs that just are gassier than others. Thank you, Melissa. I don't know. I have found that holding any of that stuff in is always worse for you than not. Things are good, Stephen. I'm tired. I'm tired. I haven't slept well for a little while now. One of the things the puppies do, I don't know if any of y'all have dealt with this with any of your puppies or dogs. Honey has nightmares every once in a while. So when she has nightmares and she wakes up, she has to like come cuddle like right with me. Well, at this point, because like medicine and stuff like that has made me lose quite a bit of weight, she is almost as big as I am. So she like takes over me, and that makes it harder for me to sleep. And Shadow, like, if there's a storm or one of the plants has any type of facility testing and it wakes him up and scares him, then he thinks he's a big bad dog and he barks, but then he comes and he gets scared and he has to cuddle with me. So, yeah, that makes it harder to sleep. But I haven't been sleeping well anyway. Steven, I would love to take a nap, but I can't take naps, and I'm not a hard sleeper anyway. So, I don't know. I think so too, Tracy. I don't know. That's part of it. I think that's why, like, as I said, for me, like, all of this stuff is like doing YouTube and all that. It's never been about making money. Yes, I want to be able to be like take care of myself and be comfortable with things, but like I don't want to be a bajillionaire. I don't want to be rich. I talked to my mother-in-law about this the other day. I was like, if I ever like say I made like 1 million subscribers or anything like that, if I made that kind of money, my biggest goal in life would be able to like set up foster homes, like maybe a group home or something, but to be able to like have a well vetted system that had good help and therapists and things like that to make sure that kids were really well taken care of, because I've dealt with being in the foster system, and you know that is something that really needs to be addressed. That would be more of like goals in my life. Also, having animals in that situation as well. That would be something that would be really important in my life, because whenever you actually start to look at the world and situation around us, that would be something that definitely needs to be addressed. There are so many things that are happening in the world right now, like the laws and things like that that are being passed right now. The things that lawmakers are focused on is stupid. And I will say this, whether you agree with me or not, the laws that are being focused on in Texas and Florida and all that are not what need to be focused on. We need to be focused on helping kids find homes and having a good support system first and all that kind of stuff. Period. Because all this other stuff is so stupid. I can't. No. You're worried about stupid stuff that make people feel like they don't belong, instead of finding places so people feel like they're loved. Sorry. If you don't want to follow me for that, because people need to feel like they're loved. Nobody should be excluded. Period. Nobody should feel excluded, no matter your race, your sexual orientation. Period. No matter what. Everybody deserves love. But that's what I would focus on. Because Jesus would be ashamed of people. Because Jesus walked with prostitutes. Jesus walked with lepers. Jesus hated the rich. So, anyways, that's me off my soapbox. But yeah, I would help foster kids. Because those are, I mean, that is people that need help the most. When you've got kids sleeping on the floor in CPS offices, we have major issues. But anyways, I think I'm going to end it there for today. But I love you guys. Tomorrow, the Patreon tutorial is going to be really cool. You want to see some really intricate stuff? Be ready for it. And I will see y'all then. Bye.